Hello and welcome to another actual real episode of Rose Guns Days. It's Thursday, and my computer died last week, so no episode then. But we're back, we're alive. Hey Vape, welcome to the thing that I'm doing. And thank you for the save reminder. I can't save anything yet though. How's it going? Yeah, so computer broke. I fixed computer by making a new one, not by fixing the old one. That one's dead forever now, including all the files on it. But I have some stuff backed up, so it's not the end of the world. It's just sad. Oh, Vape, thank you for the subscription also. I really appreciate it. Thank you. 25 months, holy shit. I found out recently that I have been streaming for 3 years. 3.5 years. Also, hold up, because there's something wacky going on. Hello, cat. How are you doing? Here we are. Hello. Welcome to Rose Guns Days. We're back-ish. I will have to figure out the lip syncing some. No, this is looking better already. Okay, that's good because you know, I need things to work. I need things to work. That's the long and short of it. Anyway, yeah. Computer broke. New computer is now a thing. And with that, we're good to just keep going because I have everything set up again and functional, mostly. So we're going to start off with our usual, the content warning. The new PC is a powerhouse, yes. I got myself a little upgrade to help with the emotional pain of losing the other computer, although, I mean, I hated that thing because it broke so often. And hopefully the new one won't. It probably won't, because I put it together myself. Okay, content warning 4. Violence and gun violence. Racism, sexual content, including references to assault, misogyny, alcohol abuse, characters dealing with trauma and depression and other mental health issues. I'm going into this blind. I have not read this story before. If you want more detailed content warnings, and including timestamps for scenes that contain the content that I am warning you about, check out the YouTube channel because after I read today live, and I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and then I'll know what happens, so I can be more detailed about it. It's a new computer with a 4060 Ti. Definitely not that much RAM. I'm on 32, I think, which isn't. I think that was the same as I had, but But it does have an i9, yeah. I think I have an i9. I don't really care about this stuff all that much. I just like things to run well. But yeah, the old one did not run well. It was just it broke so many times. Oh, it's an i7. Okay, still, it's not an i9. It was relatively cheap too, so yes, a powerhouse, not a powerhouse to that extent, but still a huge step up from what I had, surprisingly. But yeah. Hopefully, now that I have, a self-built computer with parts that I picked out myself, I will have less issues with. Shit. I forgot something. I forgot. I forgot. Okay, so what this means is we'll have to go into spoiler territory and potentially redo some stuff. Because I was gonna do this beforehand. I forgot that all my save games were lost. Yeah, I'm gonna just edit all this out. Yeah, I'm gonna unlock Season 2, because that means that we can skip time in Season... unlock Season 3, I mean. We can skip time in Season 2, which means that this screen right here is a spoiler, officially. And we're just gonna have to deal with that. Chapter jump, thank you. What does this mean? What chapter were we in? How am I supposed to know what chapter we were in? This doesn't sound... Oh my god. The Night of Legend, we definitely read that, right? Was it Utopia? Yeah, because Wild Dogs Have Dreams of Becoming Wolves does not sound familiar. I'll trust. I trust. How would you like to No. My score. My score. We're not gonna be Dual Black Guns 1948 anymore. Gonna be gone. This is tragic. I think that's it. I think that's where we ended. Okay. Alright. Kind of feel like I should just do the intro over again, but... Yeah, thank you for remembering the chapter, or having like a rough idea of it. That helped a lot. Actually, Vape, this is one of the good guys. He's, generally, like, nice and kind to people. Can't lie. Like, he's really bad at it, and he doesn't want to do it. And he raises a child. And it's not a JRPG, yeah, that's true. He probably is wearing, like, multiple layers of kimonos and other... I think they're not all called kimonos. But that's, like, the normal way to wear them, if I recall. Like, lots of layers. What I always wonder about is he's got this little... Oh, you can see my mouse now. Thought I turned that off. You're not supposed to be able to see that. Fix that in a second. But, yeah, he has this little whistle. And a necklace. And I want to know what that is about. Let's see, capture cursor off. There we go. Do you think he uses it to summon Meryl like an attack dog? No, but I think it works on Cyrus instead. And rather than summoning him like an attack dog, Cyrus shows up with tea. However, I do really want someone to have a whistle now that summons Meryl like an attack dog. I don't know who it would be, but someone has to have one of those. It's kind of necessary now. Yeah, great idea. It definitely would not be Stella, you're correct. It would be so funny if it was, though. That would be so funny. Because you know she would hate using it. unless there's no other choice. Just complain about it the whole time. Call her like a lowly and stuff. Anyway. Now that all of that is thankfully over and done with, and the delay wasn't that much ultimately. I used to just ramble this long before I started reading. Exactly, yeah. That's what you would say. But yeah, now I can actually read. Hooray. It's true. Not starting on Meryl is a blessing. Starting on Richard, though, is not much easier, because Meryl goes up, Richard goes in the other direction, and both are a struggle for me. But, I think I got it. Forgive me. I wish at least your meals didn't have to be rushed.
It's fine. I'm already used to it.
Major-san has asked to speak with you about the recent matter. It's about time that we declare a clear position on this matter. Will we save our Japanese countrymen without discriminating between them? Or will we prioritize our countrymen in City 23?
Discriminating between our countrymen is something I'd much rather avoid, but
according to your ideals, all Japanese people are our countrymen. I understand that it wouldn't be proper to distinguish between them. However, we are an organization of City 23, and we exist thanks to the support of the residents of City 23. If we lose the support of our countrymen in the city, our foundation will grow unstable. Serving a cup of porridge may save a single person from starvation. However, if we took that porridge and gave 1 grain of rice's worth to 1,000 people, no one would be saved.
our ultimate goal is to help all of our countrymen. However, we currently don't have the strength or the scale to do that.
Exactly. In order to make our ultimate ideals a reality, we must step forward in the proper manner. Major-san said it himself once.
I know. Saving the person in front of you means deciding to, and being aware of the fact that you're delaying helping the next person for a time. Those who fail to reach that decision cannot avoid being labeled as hypocrites, full of nothing but idle words.
You've grown more reliable. I'm sure Amanda's rejoicing. Speaking of, where is she? Where's she at? Is she good? Is Amanda good? Even in the past, the area in front of the employment agency had flourished with laborers who spoke only Japanese, waiting for trucks bringing cheap day labor jobs. However, the place was now filled with a crowd that put all the old ones to shame. There weren't just laborers from City 23. Beyond just Japanese people from other cities who'd heard about high wages, large numbers of Chinese laborers had also come rushing in, which meant that a larger number of people were fighting over the same number of jobs. Even in the past, there would be a rush forward whenever trucks came. However, things were no longer so easygoing. It was a war. Let me on! Let me on! Let me work. I'll do anything. Out of the way. Don't block the road. Wow, it looks like the goons got a makeover and it wasn't good. They look rough. Don't care what the job is. Let me on!
let me on.
Damn these bastards blocking the road. Give us work. How long do you think we've been waiting here? Fine. This spot's good enough, so start gathering people. We're carrying cargo at the harbor. Need 10 strong men. $400 for the day.
What the hell's that? They're blocking the road and getting jobs there.
Enough messing around. Don't ignore the employment agency code. The hell with your code. I came here from Ichikawa, hearing they had better pay around here. Why does Hachioji sound familiar? I'm from Hachioji. We're betting our lives on this. Come on, out of the way. Out of the way. We're full. Open the road. Damn outsiders. It's your fault we can't get jobs.
The hell is that to me, bastard? I've got a hungry child.
People yelling in Chinese. Oh yeah, it probably reminds me of Hachijo, you're right. What's wrong, Chinese bastard? Why don't you go fish through the trash in Chinatown or something? This place is for the Japanese only, so get your Chinese asses out. Wow, everyone's tone shifted really quickly in the past, what, year? Damn. More yelling. Ow! What do you think you're doing, Chinese bastard? You're looking for a fight with me? Oh boy. Oh boy. Get out, China, and stop trying to steal our jobs. A scuffle broke out in the crowd. Each side grabbed the other's clothes, insulted them, and spat out the accumulation of their pent-up emotions. The MPs at the entrance to the agency blew their whistles and came running. There were people who had apparently been punched and had blood dripping from their noses, as well as people curling up while getting hit with MP batons. There were people who ran away panicked, realizing that they couldn't make money in the clink, and people yelling incomprehensibly. Now that the number of laborers had swelled thanks to the inflow, their frustration had reached a peak. Hold on, I need to change something. The timer's supposed to be set for 15 minutes, but it seems to not be. Alright. I hear another meaningless fight broke out in front of the employment agency.
I've heard the same thing. It really is a shame. Everyone's frantic to feed their starving families. The number of people in front of the agency has increased, and a lot of people are losing their tempers, unable to get jobs.
I believe those laborers who lived in City 23 from the start will not find this at all amusing. Even though wages have risen, the influx of so many people from outside means they fail to get jobs, and they never see the benefit.
True. I understand how they feel too.
This is a transition period. All types of reform undergo a period of disorder. What you have done will slowly seep in over time.
That's true. Time may be what we need.
If laborers would gather for high wages, The other cities paying low wages wouldn't be able to find people anymore. Of course, employers wouldn't. I think there's a word missing from this sentence. Employers would have to match. Yeah, of course, employers would have to match Rose's wage raises to continue gathering laborers. Unwilling to abandon their vested interests, they would hesitate to imitate Rose for some time. However, they would surely give up eventually. When that happened, the wages for low-level laborers across Tokyo would reach a reasonable level. Until that time comes, problems are to be expected. It is sad, but the fact must be accepted. However, what saddens me is a different issue entirely. Sorry. For some reason, Rose being tucked away behind the iguana is really fucking funny to me. Rose already knew what that was. To the laborers who had been in City 23 from the start, laborers coming from other cities were enemies out to steal their jobs. However, among those people, trouble with Chinese men had been particularly strong lately. It was hardly unexpected. They were a different race, with a different language and customs. To Japanese people, they stood out far more than Japanese men from other cities. Because of that, it was easy for those people to face the brunt of any disturbances. Conflicts with foreign laborers during recessions happen in countries all across the world. If left alone, this could develop into a situation that harms Chinese-Japanese friendship. Though we live in the same city, we are different races with different cultures.
Yes. If we lose our sympathy for each other, it will probably lead to negative results.
Both Primavera and the Golden Dragon Society were organizations of the criminal underworld. If the situation continued to worsen, and relations between the Japanese and Chinese continue to grow more dangerous, then both organizations would face demands to take revenge against the other. Both Rose and Meiju were calm and composed, and didn't want to feud. However, both Primavera and the Golden Dragon Society had established their organizations thanks to the support of the inhabitants of their own turfs. If Chinese-Japanese frustrations grew too big, both sides would have to respond to demands from supporters, which could result in conflict. Even though the leaders of both camps didn't want a feud, it was still possible for one to break out. Partly to make it possible to maintain their own positions, they needed to suppress any further trouble.
In any event, we believe that the prime cause is the employment agency becoming overcrowded and lawless.
I agree. We have the same view. And so, I have a proposal for you all today.
Let's hear it.
Why don't our two groups take joint control of the maintenance of public order in this place? When there is trouble between Chinese and Japanese, let people from both sides cooperate, listen to the opinions from both parties, and mediate. I believe this is a world peace-style solution in accordance with the ideals of the United Nations. My apologies, but the employment agency is not in the Golden Dragon Society's turf. The brackish waters on the border of Chinatown would be one thing. However, we cannot simply accept a proposal which stations GDS forces at the agency, which is clearly within Primavera's turf. Okay. The Golden Dragon Society has no turf. If our countrymen are in trouble, we will save them, no matter where they are. Be they in Tokyo or New York. It is that simple. different definitions of turf between Japanese and Chinatown forces have been a smoldering issue ever since the days of Caleb. The Japanese tended to decide turf with a map. All problems within that turf were their own responsibility. And on the flip side, they showed no concern over any trouble occurring outside their turf. And so, they had an irresponsible side, unwilling to get involved when one of their countrymen was harmed, as long as it happened outside their turf. For the Japanese, it's very natural to look at a fellow countryman being harmed in another country as partly their own fault for going somewhere so dangerous. However, Chinatown was different. To them, it was their fellow countrymen that ought to be protected, not some area on a map. So, if a Chinese person was harmed, they would intervene no matter who claimed to own that turf. The Americans probably had similar feelings on the matter. The difference of basing your principles of turf on turf or your countrymen. Arguing which was right would be a waste of time. The important point was that the two neighboring forces had different understandings on the matter. We have no desire whatsoever to encroach on Primavera's turf. This is merely a proposition to save countrymen of both sides fairly and concretely show Chinese-Japanese friendship. However, during this past year, Chinatown expanded fiercely. They used their considerable financial muscle to buy up one shopping district after another that had been laid waste by Caleb. Richard had always viewed Chinatown's expansionary inclination as dangerous, and he claimed that they would eventually drive out the Japanese colony. So, to him, this proposal that would lead to further expansion of the GDS's power wasn't acceptable at all.
Pardon me, but we would like to take responsibility for handling this case.
In that case, do you have a better proposal than mine?
We are currently making preparations to establish a labor union for our Japanese countrymen in City 23.
We would clearly designate the union office as a place for day laborers to find work, as opposed to an unregulated location such as the employment agency. We would also guarantee them this privilege by issuing union cards. Matters would be arranged so that members could receive jobs equally, according to an ordered and planned system. Might I ask what the qualification requirements would be for members of this union?
First, membership would be limited to those with a certificate of residence in City 23.
And would that include the countrymen of Chinatown with certificates of residence in City 23? This union would exist as part of Primavera's structure, so naturally it will be directed towards our Japanese countrymen. Meiji snorted, and his eyes glinted. Of course, as a person who represented the interests of Chinese laborers, he couldn't accept this. It would mean Chinatown laborers would be unable to eat. Are there not many employers in Chinatown willing to offer jobs to those who can speak Chinese? I believe there are more well-off people there than among the Japanese, who form the lowest class. You cannot get away with that excuse. After all, the double market rate wages you offer are just too overpowering. Not all Chinese employers are as well off as you. They cannot afford to pay double wages. If our people decide to go to the employment agency in search of higher wages, who are we to stop them? Besides, lately there have been Chinese businessmen suffering because they cannot find laborers, thanks to your one-sided wage increases. I regret having to say it, but some have begun to criticize this action as a Japanese economic invasion. This was a matter that had also worried Meiju from the very start. If Primavera controlled City 23, there would be a radical change in wages and a massive wage panic. However, he had decided at the time to support Primavera, even if he had to postpone dealing with that matter, since Caleb was far too dangerous and needed to be defeated.
Meiju-san, that's a misunderstanding. We're only doing this to increase the income of our countrymen.
Besides which, before we took action, Chinese people would never come to search for work at the employment agency in the first place.
That is not true.
For a long time, there have been a large number of Chinese people getting jobs from the employment agency. You simply couldn't tell who they were, because they thought speaking in Chinese would stir up trouble and tactfully kept their mouths shut. At any rate, I cannot support a proposal that gives all the agency jobs to the Japanese.
In order to gain the benefits of those special offers windows, our countrymen prepared a large sum of money, as though squeezing their own blood out to do it. To us, we're simply collecting on our investment.
Your interpretation of the special offers window is too broad. To Primavera, the argument went like this. The special offers windows belonged to them. Therefore, they were free to distribute the jobs gained through it, to let whomever work for whatever wages Primavera pleased. However, Chinatown had a different view. The special offers window was nothing more than the right to steal project funds by passing on jobs. It did not contain the right to exclude their Chinese brethren from the end laborers. Of course, Meiju understood why Rose had wanted the special offers windows. But even so, he couldn't abandon his duty as a representative of his countrymen's interests. Let me say this, as a representative of Small Rock Chinatown.
Let's hear it.
We would like you to abandon this plan for a City 23 Japanese labor union. If you were to carry out this plan, we would have to take proper defensive measures to protect the lifestyles of our countrymen.
And by defensive measures, you mean?
Any actions without restrictions, taken with the goal of protecting our countrymen. So you would go as far as war? It means we reserve all options that might be necessary to protect our countrymen. Which of those we choose is for you to decide. In other words, no matter what the result is, the responsibility lies at your door. Meiju honed his words and slammed them against the other two. It was an unshakable responsibility to protect one's countrymen. A splendid threat to uphold that responsibility admirably. Considering the GDS's position, what does GDC have to do with anything? Considering their position, this was extremely natural. It was hardly an unpredictable reaction. Of course, Rose and Richard weren't so naive that they assumed he would agree to this proposal easily. Please forgive me. Once again, we are both doing our jobs. Though we may exchange cold words, we are still friends. I wouldn't want you to misunderstand.
Of course. Given your position, it's only natural for you to say that. So, we have another proposal to make in the hopes of gaining your approval.
Let us hear it.
We propose the concurrent establishment of a City 23 Chinese labor union.
do you mean? Both Japanese and Chinese people go to the employment agency. We're fully aware that it would be unfair to let just one group have all the jobs. If a union to distribute jobs to the Japanese is to be established, then the same thing ought to be established for the Chinese as well. An interesting proposal, but as you know, we possess no special offers windows. We have no negotiation pipe to the American occupying forces, much less to their higher levels. We wouldn't be able to obtain those special offers windows for any amount of money. The occupying forces in American army-run districts didn't take a favorable view of the expansion of Chinatown's influence. It would probably be difficult to set up a direct pipe between the Chinese and the Americans. That's why, when Caleb showed interest in dealing for the special offers windows, Meiju had wanted to support him and get a piece of the action. However, Caleb had rejected Meiju's offer to supply funding. Later on, the group they had allied themselves with, Primavera, acquired enough financial clout to make assistance from Chinatown unnecessary. They had started buying up City 23's special offers windows without Meiju's support. A quick little teeny tiny break for some tea. Thank you. I also have to process all the labor union economics talk, because boy, not my favorite subject. I thought it was free, you know. If I finished school, thought I'd never have to deal with that again. I was wrong. You got Pinot Noir? Nice. Cheers. I just have my tea and water, but I'm happy with that. Yeah, I agree. You need to know how economic stuff works. And you know, well, you know, sometimes you can just start a sentence, but you don't know where it's gonna go. That's what happened just now. So I just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna shut my mouth. And I didn't have a follow-up prepared, so... Yeah, no, I do try to be, aware of what's going on in the world and shit, and... She's channeling what? Isn't this the thing where, to me it sounded like a strategy, right? They show up, they suggest a really kind of extreme solution to part of the problem, and then they expect, pushback, and then they go, but hey, we've got you covered. Which is the kind of thing you do when you think someone might say no to an idea. Deliberately force the conversation to a manufactured problem, and then make the solution. Well, I think in this case the problem isn't manufactured though, right? This is a thing that's happening. But it's more like, if we just come out here, kick the door down, and just state our plan, our full plan, he might still say no. So we have to make him think that we're doing the worst case scenario, and then... how do I... do I compare this? It's like, yeah, you get what I'm saying though. It's like you make it seem worse than it is, so you can then soften it so that people are going to be more agreeable, basically. Or maybe they're just fucking with them because they think it's funny, I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it was that funny though, because Major got a little scary there. Which, I mean, I get why. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. This must have been the plan all along. Okay. Well, let's hear what this exact plan is. Yeah, it's sort of like a forced compromise then. Or like a fake compromise. It's sneaky.
First, I want to make it clear that we intend to use the special office windows we hold to repay our countrymen.
Acknowledging that is no different than allowing for the exclusion of Chinese laborers. As long as we have no special office windows of our own, that is.
That's right. If Chinatown had their own special office windows, we would have no objections to them using those to support Chinese laborers. We are prepared to sell your group some of the City 23 special office windows we possess.
Oh. For once, Meiji was stunned silent. True enough, while the special offers windows couldn't be bought directly from the Americans, they might be obtainable through the Japanese. However, that would probably result in Primavera earning the displeasure of the occupying forces. Well, I find it hard to imagine that Captain Butler would go along with that. To the captain, nothing is more important than having peace in this city's underworld. We have already obtained his consent in this matter. If it will serve to further his goal. This goal. I can read. How much are you willing to let us have?
20% to start. We're thinking up to a maximum of 30%, depending on negotiations.
The long sought-after special office windows of City 23. Gaining those would grace small rock Chinatown with considerable stability. No, this isn't. He's got a new little pouty face, you're right. He does look like a sad puppy. Chinatown seemed to be dazzling on the outside, but unless it had a special offers window, that lack of a foundation would always be a source of uneasiness. As far as anyone knew, political opposition between America and China might grow in the future, and harsher exclusionary measures might be taken up by both sides. If that happened, the presence or lack of a special offers window could greatly affect the fate of City 23's Chinatown. Of course, Primavera would charge them a considerable sum. However, they had money. This was a chance to buy something that normally couldn't be bought with money. That was Primavera's bargaining point in this plan to establish a union. For Meiji, it was a chance to succeed in a glorious achievement. If I accept this proposal and we quickly establish labor unions for the Chinese and Japanese, what will happen? On the face of it, the trouble involving members of both nations fighting for jobs would go away. However, that was assuming wages were the same for both unions. Unless they had the same high wages as the Japanese side, resentment among Chinese laborers would probably explode. Raising the wages for laborers would make it impossible to use the greatest advantage of holding special offers windows, the ability to snatch up some of their budgets. To the high-ranking elders of the GDS, that advantage was an extremely delicious side job. However, if they wanted to raise wages to match the Japanese side, they would have to abandon that side job. There was no way those greedy elders would agree to it. Of course, the elders were displeased with Primavera's plan to raise wages. The laborers had left City 22 in droves, and the shortage of workers there was becoming noticeable. Demands from the workplace for higher wages were growing fierce, and it was liable to cause trouble for their side jobs in City 22. The GDS higher-ups had ordered him to somehow put a stop to Primavera's wage raising plans, but damn those senile old fools. Meiju silently complained inside his head. Do you realize how many of our Chinese brethren have suffered because of your greed? Wage raising. Oh no. Now, can't help it, sometimes the ooh voice comes out. Rose, a Japanese person, was born as a dragon, determined to save her countrymen. We need a Chinese dragon to be born as well, to save ours. The only one who can spell out that ideal and make it a reality is our young lord. Is this from Meiju's perspective? I thought, is he talking about himself? Or is there another, young lord running around? The special offers windows ought to be bought whatever the monetary cost. Whatever the monetary cost. We ought to deal with. Talk about the kid he mentioned in chapter 1. I forgot about the kid entirely. Completely. Oh no. We ought to deal with Primavera. We can let our brethren within City 23 receive the benefits of higher wages too. The problem is our brethren in City 22. What better than to use this chance to raise the wages in City 22 as well? Haven't you cheated your way to enough money already? Isn't it time to return the benefits of the special offers windows back to our countrymen? At any rate, only the greedy Council of Elders would be a bottleneck. However, I'm sure the young lord will be able to keep the council quiet. Okay, yeah, he is talking about the kid. It's about time the elders learned that they can't take their money with them to the other side. Oh shit. Your proposal is quite a tempting one. What the? This timer's broken. Why is it broken? Sorry for the constant content warnings. I don't know how time works apparently. There's something wrong with it. I'll fix it. However, it will be a difficult decision. I would like to be given some time. It's not egregious? Okay, that's good, because for me it fills the whole screen so I can't see any other messages anymore. But yeah, I think I turned it down even more, so it should be good now.
My apologies, but we'd like to have the first premise of this deal be the swift approval of the labor unions for our countrymen. Our countrymen want stable wages and a stable way to get them as quickly as possible. Because of that, we have to resolve this issue as fast as we can. Our proposal to share the special offers windows we suffered so much to buy is dependent upon receiving immediate approval for the establishment of unions.
You've gotten much better at negotiation, Rose-san. If you tried to force the establishment of unions, I would lose face. But instead, you also dangle an alluring treat before me. Quite splendidly done.
Thank you. Meiji-san, we're also frantically trying to save our countrymen. Even so, we realize there are people living in the city besides our countrymen. So, instead of advancing matters on our own, we've come to you with a proposal like this.
I understand, of course. While you could have ignored us and established a union on your own, you gave me room to negotiate. I must express my gratitude to you for allowing me to save face. True enough, this doubled as a message that Primavera had no desire to ignore the GDS. Furthermore, Meiji was pro-Japanese. At this time, most Chinese people felt that, since the Japanese were members of a defeated nation, there was no point in talking with them on an even footing. That made Meiji a very convenient person for Primavera to deal with. They didn't want to embarrass him, so they had thrown in a deal for the special offers windows as a remarkable precondition for their plan. Likewise, Meiji didn't want to embarrass them. They were a new power of uncertain strength. If a feud were ever to break out between them and the GDS, Meiji would bear all the responsibility. He had to preserve a loose relationship while still letting Rose save face. So, we will each build unions and give jobs from our respective special offers windows to our respective countrymen.
Together, we'll be able to hand out excellent wages to everyone. With your assistance, we can make that ideal come true in City 23.
On a personal level, I greatly sympathize with your ideals. However, without time, there will be no way to arrange matters on my end. Can't you give me some time, so I can make adjustments that will lead to a satisfying conclusion for us both? Of course, it would be intolerable for you if I used this as an excuse to waste time.
That's right. This is a now or never emergency in City 23.
And so, I would like to have this be a gentleman's agreement based on the personal trust you and I share. To produce the best possible result, I would like you to trust me and allow me a bare minimum of time. How much time are we speaking of? I cannot give you a concrete answer, but I am fully aware that you have no time either. Can't you compromise on this point, on the basis of the trust between fellow members of City 23?
Understood.
Rose, it would be better to set a time limit.
Let's put our trust in Meiju-san. I believe our trust and coexistence are what will bring peace to this city.
You have my thanks, Madam Rose. I promise that we will not break your trust.
Thank you, Meiji-san.
I believe you could have applied more pressure than that.
They're people we have to coexist with. There's no need to pick a fight.
Do you realize how much Chinatown has expanded this past year? To protect the livelihoods of our countrymen, we ought not to let them expand any further.
What's the worst case scenario you're imagining? Richard Kun?
All of Tokyo being taken over by Chinatowns. Their solidarity is formidable. The Japanese, whose solidarity isn't nearly as strong, will be forced out of Tokyo.
So you're saying that our resilience is no match for theirs?
We are a people being driven out. Tenacity and cunning. In all ways that matter, the Japanese have no advantages over the Chinese. Do you know why the Sea of Japan is called by that name? It's because without that sea, this place would have been a part of China from the start. The country known as Japan would never have been born. We are an immature people, cut off from the weeding out on the mainland by the Sea of Japan, and unbaptized by progress. In a struggle for existence, we cannot defeat them. We will be weeded out from Japan. Surely you have seen the warning signs. Truth be told, in Tokyo of 1948, half of the 22 independent cities, excluding City 1, were under Chinese military control. Nearly all of those had become Chinatowns. So half of Tokyo had already become Chinatown. Also, City 23 wasn't the only American-controlled city that had Chinatown advancing in on it. And there were many people besides Richard who felt that all of Tokyo was becoming a Chinatown. In the end, we cannot coexist with them.
Have you always been a person who thought like that, Richard Kun? Wasn't it your motto that beliefs and nationality were meaningless to business?
That's nothing but the empty talk of money worshippers. I may have been like that when I was a mere moneylender, but not anymore. Yuji won't be able to ignore this danger if he is to protect Japan for the children of the future. In the past, when he was a businessman and a moneylender, he hadn't cared at all about the nationality of those he dealt with. However, since becoming the consigliere of an organization for mutual cooperation between countrymen, his way of thinking was apparently beginning to change. I don't want you to misunderstand. I agree with your position that the Chinese are neighbors with whom we ought to coexist with.
I understand that your position is one that keeps our future in mind. However, if it's at all possible, I would choose to coexist with them. If the Japanese are an immature people, then there ought to be a lot for us to learn. Living alongside people as resilient as they are. I think we should place more trust in our children of the future.
An optimistic view. Would you throw a rabbit into a lion's cage and expect it to learn resilience?
I want to believe that our children of the future will live resiliently and adapt to a new era. They'll learn several languages, such as English and Chinese, accept the differences in culture and common sense held by other countries, and gain the ability to adapt. They'll gain the vitality to boldly set out across the many vast countries of Asia, not just this small Japanese island chain. And all the while, they won't lose their identity as Japanese people. They'll protect the culture they've inherited. If that is impossible, then we may be destroyed as a people. However, if that's the case, then I want them to hold on to one thing: the willingness to care for other people. I want that. I want only that. To be our people's pride, regardless of how immature we may be.
Well, It certainly is true that a peace based on friendship is the cheapest to maintain.
I'm sure Major Son will understand. I'm sure we'll be able to build a utopia in City 23.
Rose sighed and closed her eyes. For the sake of her ideals, she had to raise her spirits and make a decision she would rather avoid facing. Rose slept for a while, and Richard gazed at the city through the car window with a distant look. And I will search for a new car that will help us in our negotiations. For the future of our children as well. I won't let anyone get in the way of the future you envision. Not even Major Son. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm worried. I am concerned. I am heartbroken that my score is 0. I will never recover. But hey, we reached a new chapter. Blue Insignia 1948. You saw the 0 though, right? That's nothing. I'm nothing. Nothing without my high score. It means that you're right, actually. That means no more stress about potentially failing. It can only get better. That's very true. At night, it was a pub, but during the day, it was a restaurant that seemed to be aimed at younger people, serving pizza and pasta. Apparently, they were having a meeting. Charles ordered pizza and drinks as though it was something he did all the time. With enough for 4 people set up on a round table, it looked like a little party. Today, we were having dinner a bit early. Wild dogs have dreams of becoming wolves. No. 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 Wayne inspired a whole new generation to refer to themselves as dogs. And not just any dogs, wild dogs. Wayne, please. You need to stop, Wayne. Every other episode, I just sit here and just admonish Wayne for his terrible choices like I'm his dad, you know? But he's a grown-ass man, and he can't hear me, so I guess it's kind of pointless. I'm not gonna stop, though. I can't remember how I did Oliver's voice, so I'm just gonna wing it. Like, I absolutely, completely forgot. We're members of Wilson's crew, the Wild Dogs. Hush, Brat? Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh, you think one day I'll reach him? I hope so. One day, Wayne's just gonna hear a tirade out of nowhere and be like, oh, what? Is that God? And he will change his ways, and it'll be thanks to me. And definitely not, the plot or the narrative, you know? No, that's my work. I'm preemptively claiming ownership of that one.
Wild dogs? That's Aniki Wayne's team. A band of brats who know everything about the city.
You called yourself a brat? Alright.
The Wild Dogs are basically a crew. That means a sub-organization of the Primavera family.
I forgot Nina's voice too, so again, just winging it. The Primavera family was a large organization that consisted of several sub-organizations, including these 3 children. Those sub-organizations were called the crews, plural. The bosses of the crews were called capos. Capos? Yeah. You get what I'm saying. And they moved according to the instructions given by the Grand Boss Cyrus, the boss of the bosses. And, with the assistance of the Grand Boss and the Consigliere, Madame Rose reigned at the peak of the organization. Though the crews were called sub-organizations, they were made up of influential powers who had controlled sections of the city before the Caleb era. For example, the Rich Bamboo, controlled by James Domitake, ran several gambling spots and wielded considerable monetary power. James had become Consigliere Richard's right-hand man and supported Primavera's financial affairs. There was also Battalion, controlled by Maurice Monobe, which contained the elites from the front lines that had been feared in Caleb's day. They now formed the core of Primavera's fighting force. Maurice was the head bodyguard in charge of protecting the Grand Boss Cyrus, and was always keeping a close lookout. There were also several other forces that could easily have formed a family in the past, all of whom had become crews supporting Primavera. At the very end of the list of powerful crews lay the Wild Dogs, controlled by Wayne.
So that's how Primavera is structured. All us wild dogs are raised in back alleys.
Someone needs to explain to Wayne that you really probably shouldn't be teaching children to refer to themselves as rats all the time. I don't know. Is that just me? I feel like that's a bad thing to teach a kid. Like, I don't know. It's raining rats and dogs. Oh my god. You're not wrong.
To us alley rats, there's no one we'd rather be like than Aniki Wayne. Everyone wants to be famous and get wealth and reputation just like Aniki Wayne. Well, we're also the most puny crew working under Primavera.
We may be lacking when it comes to wealth and guns. However, there are weapons that only those of us who grew up in alleys possess. Because we know all the alleys of the city back and forth, our noses can sometimes pick out things no one else can. You might call us an intelligence corps. That's not what that word says. Familiar with all the city's secrets.
Oh, wow, that's so cool. It means those adults gotta tip their heads.
Their hats, not their heads. Don't tip your head, people.
They've gotta tip their hats to our animal instincts.
Every time one of these people refers to themselves as an animal, I die a little inside. No, don't tip your head. It's supposed to stay on there.
Well, we're basically just a group of brats. The small fry of Primavera's small fry.
However, even Wayneson was a greenhorn once. From there, he built up a legend, and eventually managed to become Madame Rose's exclusive guard. He may be the youngest capo, but he's one of the 7 legendary people who can chat casually with the Grand Boss. That's how far he climbed.
I'm sure we'll make a name for ourselves as wild dogs. And then we'll become legends like Aniki Wayne.
We're the proud wolves, the wild dogs. Even Even a wild dog can eventually become a wolf if it sharpens its fangs. That is absolutely not how that works. That is absolutely not how that works. Anyway.
No one can beat us when it comes to having big hearts and the drive to become great. Incredible. You all look so inspirational right now. I'm sure you'll achieve something fantastic. I guarantee it. I'm sure you'll accomplish something that the other wild dogs could never do.
Indeed. We will surely create legends.
It's kind of embarrassing if you praise us so much. Well, one step at a time, right?
Yeah, just treat Chihuahua and use a whetstone on his teeth to turn it into a wolf. Yeah. The tiniest wolf in existence. The three of them grinned embarrassedly. As they did, the store was growing more and more lively. Everyone there was young and seemed to know these three. They were probably all members of the Wild Dogs. This store must be their gathering spot. However, we were the only ones dressed roughly, and the others were all in suits. You three always show up here early, don't you? Well, at least you have that going for you.
Hey there, Charlie. See, you're looking as short as ever. Shut up. What's hate got to do with it?
Better stop. Get this guy mad and you'll find your wallet suddenly missing.
You still on top of your game with that? Didn't Wayne Sun forbid you from doing it? Better keep it under control. Now you've done it. Talk smack about me and you better keep a close eye on your wallet for the rest of your life.
Charles tossed a wallet onto the counter. Apparently, it belonged to the man who had joked about his height. They looked shocked, as though someone had just shown them a magic trick, and then they burst out laughing, acknowledging the hit.
Huh? What just happened? Is that a magic trick? Back in our alley days, Charles was a master pickpocket. He always earned the most out of us all.
He was a bit of a hero back then. But now Wayne Sun's forbidden him from pickpocketing.
No helping it. I'm getting enough money to eat from Money Lane. The rule says people with enough money to eat can't pickpocket.
Take pickpocketing away, and Charles is just a brat. Hey there, Oliver. A long time no see, Nina. I hear they made you quit at the club again.
Shut up. That is none of your business.
How old is Nina? Can we just can we get some deets on that? How old is Nina? How old are all three of these kids anyway? You're gonna guess and say 17? Sounds... I mean, I would believe that, yeah. Is that why they made her quit? Good, I guess, but why was she working there to begin with? Seems a little young. Anyway. Nina isn't suited to be a lady of the evening. She always gets in fights with the customers. Shh. Sure, that's one reason she shouldn't be working there.
If you think any woman can make men happy just like that, you're sadly mistaken. I'm just not suited for it, that's all. Still, She's awesome with the pachinko. Pachinko?
It's a slingshot. That thing made out of a Y-shaped stick with elastic leads that shoots balls. Is that why pachinko machines are called pachinko machines? Because they like slingshot the little ball? I'm learning so much today. I also thought it referred to the slot machines, but it kind of makes sense. That takes me back. Nina really was a pachinko genius.
She could hit anything she wanted, no matter how far away it was. It's really amazing. So stupid. Bragging about something like that won't earn you any food. It would have been so much better if I could pickpocket like Charles. That isn't any good to me now. I want to reach Oliver's height and make a legend fighting.
Little Charles here would have major issues being a bodyguard, wouldn't he? Shut up. Be quiet. We're busy polishing our skills. Nice. I see you're as much of a bookworm as ever. You realize studying isn't what you need, don't you?
Aniki Wade's always disgusted with the way you jump the gun.
I want to become a wolf as fast as possible. Okay, so the animal pattern is like, refers to actual like, levels within the crew then, right?
It's only people at Aniki Wayne's level that get to call themselves lone wolves.
Jesus Christ, Wayne. Well, maybe they just put the barcode on the top left. Maybe. I mean, reading order in Japan is different because well, it depends, I think. If it's like a modern thing, I think it's just left to right then, but there's also like up to down, right? That's a reading order. I think, am I stupid? No, that checks out. I don't know what the reading order would be in 1948 in this alternate history thing. But, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that the book is upside down. Because he's also got the little bookmark peeking out, and that's usually, like, at the top, right? Yeah.
We're just dogs. Wild dogs.
I'm sorry, Wayne, is everyone in your crew... Why is everyone in your crew like this? Every single one of them is like,
I'm a dog. I'm a wild dog. I'm also a rat. And I want to be a wolf one day. I want to be like a lone wolf. Because then I'll be cooler and better than everyone else. Right now I'm a dog. A wild dog? Did you know that I am a dog? I'm a wild dog. But I want to be a wolf one day. But I'm a dog right now? A wild dog.
it just goes on. These people all know this about each other. Why are they telling each other this? All of them are just constantly like, I'm a dog, I'm a wild dog, I'm also a rat, I want to be a wolf. Like, just... Oh my god. Do you think that Wayne just goes walking around town and then just listens to people calling themselves dogs, wild dogs, rats, saying shit like, I want to be a wolf, and just goes like, ah, yes, yeah, join my crew. Do you think he picks them out based on how many times they refer to themselves as animals? You bet he bandages up his left hand, telling people he's holding back the power in it. Honestly, I would buy that for any person in this room. They're just dogs. Wild dogs.
Just what are you thinking? Moving without your pack.
Yeah, I'm with Zell on this one.
It's the same for Oliver. He's got a few issues. You know, he's...
Oh.
You know, he's uncooperative, impatient to achieve great things, and stubborn.
Oh, so just like Wayne then. He's just mini Wayne.
He may not look it, but he used to stand at the head of the pack.
Like, above all these grown-ass adults? Or do you mean like your own little teeny tiny pack? I'm so confused. What is the hierarchy here? I don't get it. However, Oliver's desire to improve was too strong. Impatient to achieve greatness, he started trying to leave his friends in the dust and make a splash in the world before any of them. His comrades criticized him harshly, saying he was uncooperative, didn't listen, was trying to hog every accomplishment for himself. In the end, Wayne had scolded him harshly for it, and he'd grown deeply depressed.
He's always been sort of a selfish egomaniac. He's had no friends ever since the alley days. Well, he didn't get what he asked for.
But you're all friends, aren't you?
We're just a bunch of failures sticking together.
Oh. See, this is what happens if you train a bunch of little kids to consider themselves rats and dogs. This is a logical outcome. Sorry, Wayne. All their fellow wild dogs who came into the store one by one were wearing nice suits. From what I could overhear from their conversations, they were all bodyguards or drivers doing some sort of job. When you think of it, I've never seen Oliver, Charles, or Nina doing a job until today. So, do all of you have jobs? No. Charles, stop that. Charles, stop that right now. We're wild dogs. Did you also know that we're dogs? And we're wild. And we're rats? And we want to become lone wolves? Yes, Charles, we know. You did not? Okay. Tell me more? No. Lone wolves are always ready for jobs that come their way. You just said you're not a lone wolf, so...
Well, we're pretty clumsy. We keep messing up any job we're given.
Yeah, it's because you're children? You're children. You shouldn't be here. These kids. I feel bad for them, but... I feel bad for them, honestly. Yeah, now you're getting it, Cat. They're wild dogs and they want to be lone wolves, but they are already lone wolves and wild dogs. And they're also rats. They are deranged a little bit. If it was lions and tigers instead, I would be just as exhausted. Oh, by the way, I don't think the names themselves don't necessarily make a difference. It's just the constant barrage of animals. It's like a zoo. I want to be a cockatoo. I want to be a penguin. But right now, I'm a bat. It doesn't matter. guess at least it's sort of coherent that it's all like canines, but minus the rat part. At least you can give someone rabies, that's true. That's something to be proud of. I don't think it is.
Damn it, even we want to be big.
And you'd better eat your spinach and drink your milk. Eating little fish is supposed to work too.
Don't you mock me. And Nina, why don't you stop being embarrassed and change the way you talk? That's right. You look cute after all. If you could just fix that dialect. That's enough out of you. Language is the pride of a person's hometown, so mind your own beeswax.
Is that the dialect? Beeswax?
Well, just you wait. We'll make bigger and bigger names for ourselves and become Aniki Wayne's right-arm men.
I believe the term is right-arm wolf. Rumor has it, Wayneson's forming an elite guard for Madame Rose. The day we get chosen for that
Might be the day we become legends.
Right, Podwolf, yeah.
We're pretty good at shooting and fighting.
I wonder if they'll pick me. Oh my god, this is a room full of Wayne Sims. It actually is a room just full of, like, his little fan club. How? I'm distracting myself with my, there's just... I don't even know what it is, I'm just constantly baffled by how these people talk. And Wayne's choices. Wolves of a feather flock together, ugh. It's true, they do, apparently.
I wouldn't lose in a contest of shooting or fighting. Doesn't Wayne-san keep telling you to show some restraint? Why don't you just keep on studying forever instead of getting in the way? Try and remember just a bit of how much trouble you've caused your comrades by jumping the gun.
Anyway, you guys have a totally different talent, don't you?
Oh yeah, why don't you just make a living off that?
Might as well have a few wild dogs who can do tricks. They're just getting bullied by grown-ass adults. It's really sad, actually. Clearly, the three of them are being treated like the dunces of the Wild Dogs crew. The store was filled with people bragging about their suits and stories from their jobs. Even though the three of them had been so bright and cheery a second ago, once everyone showed up, they all shrank up. Unable to blend in with the happy circle of people, the three dropouts quietly rose from their seats. Then, as though trying to hide, they moved to some lonely seats in the back, near the bathroom. They sure say mean things to their comrades, don't they? They're right about all of it. We are dropouts, after all. We keep messing up bad enough to disgust them. Nothing we can say can change that. We're always the only ones who get told to don't do anything that'll make things worse. In the end, back alleys are a perfect fit for us. We can't even become bodyguards, much less legends. So, when Wayne-san asked us directly to look after you, we were all really happy. It felt like Wayne-san hadn't forgotten about us yet, after all. Oh my god. Wayne, what are you doing? This is depressing. If anything, we don't want you to be inconvenienced in any way. Once we've looked after you until your memory returns, and finally be able to clear our bad names a bit. I sorta don't like letting this slide. I want to smack the cheeks of those people over there who are clearly looking this way and giggling. The moment my anger became unbearable, the store was suddenly filled with motion. Everyone rose from their seats, and the clamber suddenly died down. Wayne-san's here. Every time I see him, he's got such a dignified look. We wish we could be a man that big someday. No, is it me, or is Charles currently constantly saying we when he talks about himself? I don't remember that being the case up till now. But right now it seems like he's talking in like royal we, you know, like we Charles think that we wish to be taller, that kind of. Maybe he's got multiple personality syndrome, or maybe he's just really far up his own ass. It's weird, because I don't remember him doing that before, but maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention. And so we'll see how dignified Wayne looks. I don't know if this counts as dignified. Now that he was appearing as a boss, Wayne-san had a whole different feel to him than the last time we'd met. I don't know much about the criminal underworld, but this is probably the sense of formidability it takes to be a boss. Just not the wardrobe. Automata, stop it. It's been behaving for a little bit, but nope. Don't worry, I slapped it. By the time he stood behind the counter, the once noisy store had gone completely silent. Welcome, everyone. Is there any news? I hear Ein's wife scratched up his face and kicked him out of the house. Again? We can't let someone with a face like that be seen at the club. Don't forget that being a bodyguard is also a service industry. A man covered with wounds scratched his head, and everyone guffawed. Listen up. Right now, Primavera is in the middle of vital negotiations with Chinatown. Madame Rose is proposing an important plan for City 23's sake. I wonder what that is. Madame Rose is always worrying about the employment agency. A lot of outsiders came, and now the people of the city can't get jobs. And that resentment might be part of the reason there's been so many fights with Chinese people lately. There have even been cases of outsider Japanese men stirring up trouble on their own. It'd be a real nuisance if something like that started up a conflict between us and the GDS. We're at a moment where we can't afford to stir up any trouble in Chinatown. Understand? It'll be a pain if the poor fight each other and a Chinese person gets involved and injured. Keep an eye out to make sure no Chinese people get caught up in any fights. Oh, that is absolutely what's going to happen, isn't it? Check the entertainment areas, post stations, and back alleys near Chinatown. Any place where fools might make a scene. Even if both parties in the fight bear responsibility, if someone on their side is injured, that'll be another card in their hand. Put a stop to anything that might hold Madame Rose back. Yes, boss!
Lee Meiju is probably thinking the same thing. If a fight breaks out, the Golden Dragon Society might come in and attempt to mediate it. We might bump into them when they do. Do not, under any circumstances, stir up trouble with the GDS. Got that? Yes, boss. After all the wild dogs finished giving their energetic answer, Wayne turned his back to them and sat at a dimly lit counter in the back. It was apparently the boss's favorite seat, perfect for brooding. Now I see why only that seat was empty in this packed store. As though the formal matters had ended, the store grew noisy again. Dazzling women surrounded Wayne. Unsurprisingly, the boss must be popular. Women in clothes that left them nearly exposed surrounded him seductively. However, the apparently stoic Wayne-san seemed to show no interest in them. What'll we do? We heard what Wayne-san had to say. Let's go. I can't stand drunks. Yeah, they don't let underage kids like us drink. Yeah. Zell, shall we go? These people are really sad. Even though everyone's gathered and about to eat, they showed up early and finished eating first since they can't blend in with the others. Because they're children. They are children. With just mixed in with grown-ass adults, like, oh, they fuck up a lot. Yeah, that's what kids do. That's how they learn. What is wrong with you people? They were completely incapable of blending in with the happy clamor around them. It felt uncomfortable. Even though the wild dogs were supposed to be a place for them to belong. The three of them made to leave the store. Zell followed them. At that moment, Wayne just happened to turn around and notice Zell. I briefly forgot that her name is Rapunzel. It kind of cracked me up, I'm sorry. Rapunzel. Good day to you, Wayne-san. The moment he realized it was Zell, Wayne's eyes narrowed. Oliver, why did you bring her to a dangerous place like this? Madame Rose is the one who asked that you be taken care of. Have you forgotten that? I decided on my own to follow them here. I wanted to say hello to you, Wayne-san. Is that so? Forgive me for shouting all of a sudden. Have you had any troubles getting settled in? Have they been doing a good job of looking after you? They have. Thanks to them, I've been feeling great. They've done a lot to make it easy for me. Wayne-san, if you wouldn't mind doing it, I'd like it if you'd congratulate them for what they've done for me. When Wayne stared at them, the three all went rigid, with forced smiles. It seems you've done well. Please continue to look after her. Of course, Aniki Wayne. Looking after a person's no sweat, even for us. Wayne-san, about the employment agency matter, could we also... Oliver. Wayne looked at him silently and threateningly. His hangers-on giggled. I believe you've already been given the job of looking after her. That's right. I've trusted you. No, I still trust you. I've never once thought you were useless. However, Now is the time for you to think carefully about what's really important for you. What can you do, along with your comrade? Think long and carefully. Yes, sir. I'm counting on you regarding Rapunzel. I won't let you slide if she's inconvenienced. Yes, boss. Wayne turned his back on them. Oliver bowed to that back, then turned around himself. Don't go bothering Wayne's son anymore, you hear? After all, don't you have another skill that's just perfect for earning you food money? Yeah, that's right. I think you're much more suited to that than being bodyguards. What do they keep referring to? Shut up! We've got no instruments we'd waste on you. Let's go, Oliver. Once we successfully finish the job Wayne-san entrusted us with, I'm sure our stock will rise. One day. Someday. Oh, now he said I instead of we. Charles is confusing me. Yeah. You're right. The three left the restaurant and returned to the second floor of the musical instrument store. And that's where I'm gonna call it for the day. Yeah, I guess they play instruments or something? Are they a little band? That's way cooler than being a wild dog, sorry. Also, yeah, Wayne should not be around children. He doesn't know how to handle them at all. Oh my god, that would be their band name. Or maybe the Lone Wolves. Because, you know, that's what they want to be when they grow up. Oh boy. Yeah, no, that was, yeah. Something is gonna go very wrong. I think this is me predicting things, okay? So, if that actually, I don't know what's gonna happen. To be clear. I think something's going to go wrong that's going to either endanger or fully ruin the deal with Meiju, basically. There's going to be lots of trouble with the union stuff, and it might be these three kids, or Zell included, I guess, of those four, that either trigger it, set it off, or get the blame even if it's not their fault. And then they'll have to like prove themselves or prove it's not their fault. Whichever applies. And then it's all going to get really tense and dangerous for a bit. And that might actually lead us into the third season, because this is the second season right now. So I wonder, it can go two ways. Either things are going to go bad soon, and it gets partly resolved before the next season, or it's all going to be fun, lighthearted, happy times till things go bad at the end of this season as a nice cliffhanger, right? And yeah, it would be good character development. But I would like it also if someone could acknowledge that these are children and that's an okay thing to be. Like, I get that times are rough and you're expected to grow up quickly, but that, like, you need to learn things, you know? Like, development doesn't come, I don't know, falling out of the sky. They're gonna need time to become skilled or whatever the fuck.
people are expecting from them. So I don't know. But then with Zell seeing what's happening and trying to stick up for them, you know, that's already being acknowledged, really. So, it'll probably be fine. Hopefully. What I really want to know, though, because we saw Tomitaka this time, but where's Amanda? He needs to be nurtured and grown in a safe environment, like indoor salmon. Yes. Yeah. Or like, you know, maybe they can start a band. A nice little emo band where they sing about their feelings. It's also like a good way to build character, right? But yeah, where's Amanda? She was mentioned. Oliver would definitely dress up like Gene Simmons and Kiss. Hey, I feel like Nina would out of the three of them. She's like the wackiest look. Sorry, Nina. If she returned to teaching, that would be great. I just want to know if she's okay. Are there other people that we haven't seen in a while? I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, there's Leo, I guess, but we know he's off in another country, so we're not going to see him in a while. I feel like it's really easy to dress up like Kiss if you just have white face paint. And black face paint, obviously. We haven't seen Leo in over a year, really. Actually, that's not true, because he left... no, yeah, it is over a year. This was like a year after Leo leaves. We saw Cyrus, Stella, Meryl. We haven't seen Crazy Alfred, true. But to be fair, we thought that Crazy Alfred was dead. But he's not. So I don't necessarily expect to see him again. Caleb or Miguel, yeah. I still hold on to... not the hope, because if they're dead, then, well, I mean, they both kind of sucked. But they're also fun in a way, so... I wouldn't mind seeing them again. And I still think that they're probably not dead. We might see Alfred again as comic relief, that's a good point. Oh, we saw Claudia, who is thriving. I think that's everyone. Butler, Meiju, yeah. It's just Amanda, who's the big question mark right now. But they mentioned her, so we'll probably learn more about how she is doing. She disappeared. She just dissolved into a puddle at the end. Nah, she's brought up, so I think that that's not the last we've seen of her. If it is, I'll be sad, kind of, because she just sort of... with the whole hostage situation, right? She was just there 1 second and then not mentioned since. So that's a bit odd. Yeah, I don't know where she went, but maybe she just got like a nice teaching job, teaching people English, so fingers crossed, hopefully. Yeah. I don't know, maybe she just works at Primavera, you know, or is teaching. I would like that for her. Okie doke. I saved. Did I save? I did save. Maybe she's the hairdresser? Maybe. Teaches people to retain massive blue lenses, yeah. Oh, thank you for the save reminder. I have in fact saved. That would be very appropriate for Amanda. But she also strikes me as the type to get her hair done by someone else. So, depends on your interpretation. Alright. I'm gonna try very hard to just do like a quick little outro and then ditch. So I don't end up like rambling for another 40 minutes like last time. Yeah, exactly. She wouldn't be dyeing that giant pile of hair. I did not try Raging Loop. I do think it is on sale right now. Steam autumn sale. I might give it a buy. I've been playing Not for Broadcast, which is really fun. It's an FMV game, which is also like a sort of choose your own adventure game with some visual novel type parts, where it's like, you know, you just read a story and you make choices. It's very British. Very funny also. Good acting. Which is kind of important if you make an FMV game. And they're getting a new DLC next year. It's been on my wish list for so long, like genuinely since it came out. And I finally bit the bullet. And yeah, no, it's good. And I've been playing Baldur's Gate. Of course. And you know, fixing my PC. You basically get to roleplay as the BBC, yes. Or at least someone who works for the BBC, or potentially against them. And that's really fun. And you get like a, you know, behind the scenes sort of stuff, and basically your decisions for what you put on the air influence what happens in the country, so that's super interesting. Like, you can watch other people play this game and they can end up with fairly different outcomes than you do. So it's one of those choices matter games, which I always enjoy. So yeah. Hey, so yeah, in the game, you can absolutely do that. And there's also some really, I don't know, I just think it's a fun game. And I like the vibe and the humor. And it's got lots of politics in it. But like handled really well, so yeah. But yeah, if you're one of those no politics in my games people, you should probably not be watching my channel. Sorry. You should probably not be here. Just fair one. Anyway. Yeah, the reviews look good. which I was very pleased to see, because yeah, no, it's definitely good. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I keep politics out in the way that you keep, like, a nice bottle of wine out ready for visitors. Like, you want to talk about the horrible state of the world right now? I'm down. Let's go. As a reminder, eat the rich. Oh boy, I'm gonna... Nah, it'll be fine. I don't mean literally, obviously. It's... I'll explain some other time if that's confusing. Anyway. Oh boy. I'm gonna have to edit the fuck out of this episode. To be fair, I said a nice bottle of wine and not vinegar, okay? It's not meant to, like, be a torture to drink. Although you could put that on, as you would say, chips, and it'd be great. Depends on how long you left it out. Yeah. I just mean it's, like, ready to go, right? I don't mean it's literally out in... No, vinegar. No wine. If it turns into vinegar, you can then... Ugh. You have to admit, that could be good. Unless you don't like salt and vinegar on your chip. Which is fair. No judgment. See, then you just gotta let some wine get really bad, and then you can dunk it on your chip. It would totally work. It would absolutely work. Take my word for it. I would also do that. Or that, but that's efficient, you know? And like, requires good planning. I don't do that. This is a lie, by the way, I do plan, but... Yeah, no, that is a much better idea than what I came up with. But, I mean, if you end up with some gross wine, you can still find a use for it. Yeah, I don't know. This is such a weird note to end on, but I'm gonna go. Before it gets weirder. No, don't drink it to get drunk. Put it on your... We've been over this. Keep up, cat. I don't think it would be good if you actually started, like, drinking wine that's gone off. I don't recommend doing that, and if you do that, I will not be held responsible. Just a little disclaimer for you there, don't do that. And don't blame me if you do. Do not drink off wine. Especially if it tastes like vinegar, you will get sick, I'm pretty sure. Just put it on your chips instead. I'm sure that's a fine alternative that won't make you sick at all. Yeah. So yeah, this was Life Advice with Sam. Disclaimer, no it wasn't. And we'll be back next week with more Rose Guns Days. If you're keeping an eye on the YouTube stuff, I'm taking a little small break from that to rebuild my backlog because, you know, I couldn't do anything for about a week. And that gives me a little more free time. Well, not free time, but a little more leeway with editing, and you know, I like doing my best, so I don't want to rush things. So taking a small break. God, me too. I'm so glad that I have a normal working PC now that probably isn't going to have parts break randomly every month or two. The old one was bad. I had to send it back, I think twice, and then the RAM broke, and then the hard drive broke, and I think maybe also the motherboard. So like, I regret that a lot. Oh no. Yeah, that's my lesson that I learned. I just don't trust other people with their PC stuff. Especially not if it's relatively cheap. Cheap does not equal good. It does not. Cheap usually means cheap parts that break quickly, and in this case, put together by people who don't even know the difference between Windows 10 and Windows 11. And yeah, it was bad. Yeah, they couldn't tell the difference. So initially I had a problem that was in, like a setting in the BIOS that was basically frying the RAM. And also the RAM was broken because, you know, obviously 2 months after all that, it broke completely. So every time I tried to render a 3D thing, it would just crash. And they checked it out and they were like, well, we did some stress testing and nothing happened. And I'm like, yeah, it's because you didn't try to, like, you didn't do the thing that I was doing that was causing the issues. I also ran stress tests, nothing happened, I know this. Well, the mem check wasn't, I also ran one of those, I wasn't doing anything. It was like a specific issue with that only some programs run into if they do a specific, it was a really super specific issue. But I googled, like I looked up one error on Reddit and I found a solution. You know, it was, I don't know, that's where I go for my computer advice now. And it pretty much always works. Unless it's about recovering lost data, do not trust Reddit with that. There's so much like trash. Anyway. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the whole interaction there was, but it was just fucking with Blender and making the RAM just kind of quit. And I was like, well, figured out the issue, don't need you guys anymore. And yeah, no, it was bad. And now I'm in full control of my computer because I built it myself and I like it that way. It saves me a lot of stress. But the whole mess did cause some delays here and there, so yeah, a little slower on the YouTube front for a bit. I have a whole script I have 2 whole scripts I need to write that I should have had done already, but I didn't because no computer, so I couldn't watch the footage that I need to match the script to and stuff like that. It is empowering, you're so right. And it is just Lego for adults, except sometimes the parts don't click together like as, like, sometimes it doesn't work good. And then you're like, oh, how am I supposed to get this cable in when the CPU fan is blocking the whole axis, and then you have to unhinge the whole motherboard, and it's like bad Lego for adults. Maybe that's the adult part. Maybe. Wow. At any rate, things are back up and running again. It'll be back to the normal scheduling in no time. I just have to do some work. Like a lot of it. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, but with the jigsaw from the Saw series, like potentially lurking around the corner. Not to kill you, but to kill your computer. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, so YouTube exists. Go check it out. We also have a Discord. Keep that in mind. I don't really... It's very quiet there, but it's useful for updates and stuff. And reminders for videos going live, streams happening. And we have emotes. Probably the cutest emotes in the world. And I would bet money on that. So... yeah. See, there's one right now. And I'm also slowly, like, upgrading them to be higher quality. Waiting to force parts of your PC to drill through each other. I've had that happen with an older build. Oops. Anyway. Yeah. Put vinegar on your chips. Build your own PCs if you can. And we will be back next week. Usual time. And then we're gonna find out. You know what? I'm not sure where the story's going. I don't know what we'll find out, but it'll be exciting, I'm sure. Please don't call yourself a lone wolf. I guess I'm not... You know what? Yeah, call yourself a lone wolf. Who am I to judge, right? Do your thing. I guess if you really have to, yeah, sure. But yeah, back next week. Most important thing of all. Holy shit. Yeah, alright. I mean, like I said, who am I to judge? Anyway, most important thing here of all of it is thank you for watching. Thank you for being here, whether you're in the chat or lurking or watching a VOD right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope to see you again next time. That's it. That's it. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good have a good time of your life. Bye-bye.